association with INO.
Manzi, asante sana for joining us for another classic episode of the Weekend Edition. I'm your host, Dr. Kingori. In the country, kila mtu anaongelea food, but we have decided to talk about food differently on the show leo. One of our guests, in fact, both of our guests are experts in nutrition. One of them, mnamjua kama brand ambassador wa Sembe originally. Though hiyo video sijui kama ni advisable kuicheza sahi juu I don't think it's fair kucheza na food, but now that wase wanajua ni video ya kitambo, most of you remember one of our guests na hii video. Yeah. I don't think Ugali has ever been treated with that much respect. Charles Odongo is in the house. Was you Mr. Charles Odongo, aka Ugali Man. Our other guest is a clinical nutritionist. Clinical nutritionist. Ni msi alipenda food mpaka akaenda kuisomea. Like yeye ni daktari wa food on the level ya that level of understanding. We can explain that as we go because Felix Okoth is in the house. Wazi. Asante sana. Leo we'll go right into it. I know there is so much to talk about as far as food is concerned. GMO is a conversation inaendelea in the country, but Charles, just to start us off, quick one. Ukienda kukula ugali hivyo, hiyo kutoa nguo ni necessary? Of course najua kwa context ya kukula watu utoa nguo, but hiyo sasa nutrition.
It depends. Yeah, tunasema kila nyani ana stare yake. Kuna mule atachukua ndizi aikule chini na kuna mwingine lazima aende kwa miti ndio asikie vizuri. So it depends with persons. Yeah, ni kwa stare yako. Vile unataka kuimega.
Did you just use kumega in ordinary sentence? So Felix, Holke, please, just a simple description, yeah, what a clinical nutrition is.
So in a simple way, Dr. Kingori is told you have ulcer or acidity. You go to Daktari, they will tend to see what is the cause of your acidity. Is it a bacterial infection? Is it indigestion? Whereby they'll run a lab test. They can do a blood work to check if it's a viral cause or a stool checkup to see if it's a bacterial cause. And then they will also take a picture of the stomach using something called endoscopy. Ni picha inaingizwa kwa tumbo to see the level of the effect of your intestinal lining, the irritation, or if there is a wound, what we call an ulcer. So thereafter, the doctor will give you medication. If it's a bacteria, atakupatia antibiotic. If there is an inflammation, atakupatia anti-inflammatory drugs or anything like that, antihistamines. If you have pain, painkillers. But where the nutrition is now coming, the clinical part of nutrition in your management, when you have ulcer, there are things that can worsen that ulcer. Because if you have a bacteria, na bacteria umeponywa, ikaisha ni kama wale wanakuwaga na hilo gonjwa inaitwa H. pylori. You'll be given a H. pylori kit, later on H. pylori inaisha, lakini symptoms of gas and acidity still remains. So nutritionist comes in to help you advise you what will restore your stomach lining back to normal. So different vitamins, food that you'll avoid to prevent that irritation, and then food that will also prevent overproduction of acidity.
Please confirm, mko na kamera ya kuingiza mtu kwa tumbo, ya kuangalia what is there. Is it limited to the conditions you're suffering from, ama it sees more than that? Like, could it be used for other uses? Wale watu wa kuulizwa, umekula ati, hapana hata sijaonja kitu. Unamuingiza kamera huko, unakutana na mutura. Can it be used?
So, ndio usikutane na mutura, ama usikutane na kanyama ndio inadigestiwa unaona vile naenda. Ndio maana before ufanyiwe test, unaambiwa ukae njaa masaa fulani either 8 hours, so the stomach is as empty as possible to give a clear picture of how it is. Ni kama how do I give umeenda kupima sukari na Ugali Man hapa amemega ile ugali kubwa ile amemega pale, hiyo sukari itashoot because the digestion ina happen. So such a test unaambiwa kwanza we stay on an empty stomach for some time ndio asipate nyama washangaze. Ushaona ule mtu alipata kitu ndani ya tumbo akashangaa unachuma ndani ya tumbo, kumbe you see something like that.
Okay, very interesting thing you say hapo. Ukikula ugali kama hiyo Ugali Man, sukari ina shoot. Do you find people wanakuambia, oh Ugali Man you're so sweet? Every relationship yako na ugali, you're very passionate ukisema you love food. Naget, what's your history with food? Because si hata kukula tu peke yake, you are also a food professional.
One thing I will say and let everybody understand is that food is a miracle medicine. You need it for you to go about your daily chores.
Food is a miracle medicine.
Correct. Chakula ni important.
Watu wa Sheng wanasema zote ni kukula.
Yes.
You can go for days without
many days, yeah, but few days with, yeah.
Umaika njaa longest how long?
30 minutes. No, to be precise now, let me tell you now the truth.
Yeah.
3 hours. Because you see now I do what we call muscle building. And I do 7 meals in a day to support my muscle mass and also my daily caloric intake. You see, I have to eat after every 3 hours to support my muscle mass.
Otherwise, sijui breakfast, lunch, supper after every 3 hours?
Every 3 hours I have to do. Actually, kifika usiku nikienda kulala kitu kama saa 3, it will be a total of 7 meals. 3 hours, I have to eat something. 3 hours, I have to eat something. Simply because I have what we call high metabolic rate. Mimi inasiaga haraka sana. Takula hapa saa 8 tafinya ugali bwana na samaki bwana. Saa 1, saa 3, tena hapo saa 4 bwana. Tunakutana na kitu bwana. Do you maintain power? Yeah, otherwise, you see now, there is something. Nikireduce here, we see all my energy level. You see, I'm for power and also I'm for muscle mass. There is a certain muscle mass I want to maintain. Okay. Nikipunguza hiyo systematic way of my eating, power kwa gym performance itenda, everything will just go down.
So in short, your motivation ni uko na allergy ya kukonda.
Yeah, I don't want to grow. Yeah, I'm looking for bigger muscles. Yes.
Then is there universal food advice? Yeah, watu wanaambiwa some professionals watakwambia don't eat eat at least 4 hours before you go sleep. Eat a certain type of food for you to get X amount, and that varies from everybody. Is there a universal food quantity and quality for a person, and how is that determined?
I would say the universal food quantity or even type of food
and timetable.
And timetable in a professional manner haiko.
Okay.
Because our body function differently. Similarly, let me give you a very good example. Ona Kingori yeye ukaga tu hapa, sio mseo kapa. Yeye aendagi hata ulisweat lini mwisho? Kwa job.
Oh, kwa job.
So ujai sweat kwa job. But you see Ugali Man here, his job is it's too intense. So his expenditure bila amekwambia metabolism is different. So the metabolic rate is just generally the usage of energy or nutrients general that you get from food. So this what determines your requirement of food. So your job and his job or whatever your body does during the day or during the night, the activities are different with his. So him, the calorie is the amount of heat that is produced from food to allow our organs and cells to function. So him, the calorie is the amount of heat that is produced from food to allow our organs and cells to function. So him, the calorie is the amount of heat that is produced from food to allow our organs and cells to function. So him, the calorie is the amount of heat that is produced from food to allow our organs and cells to function. So him, the So his calorie requirement is a spice job. Nika yule mtu wa mjengo. Na mwingine amekaa tu pale anauza mayai anachapa tu hivi. Their requirements are different. So, and that's why for food, we require nutrients of food portions depending on our energy expenditure and the type of job that we do. And that's why if you are to require food to maintain your system, you can require food to maintain how you look at this moment, or to gain weight as Ugali Man. The portions will differ. And in a clinical way, is now calculated depending on what? Your BMI. Then we'll increase your calorie now up onto the plan is a portion. Okay. But in a general understanding, we have layman understanding of food. And that one we talk of layman portioning. Ile tunasemaga kuna plate model. Ile ukienda kwa nutritionist, yule alisoma juju atakwambia half a plate ikuwe vegetable, a quarter ikuwe starch, na quarter ikuwe protein, ukunywe maji glass 8, umake sure unakula fruits 2, utembee ufanye exercise mara 30 minutes to 1 hour, na hiyo advice imeisha hapo. Jaribu
so your advice si legit. Conversation yetu ya na Ugali Man, Mr. Odongo na Dr. Felix Okoth continues on the other end of this short commercial break. See you guys in a bit.
Imperfections, blackheads. Try Garnier's Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, powered by salicylic acid and purified charcoal to reduce pimple-causing germs by 99.5%. One product, 3 uses for a pure skin. Garnier Pure Active 3-in-1 Charcoal, #1 in South Africa, by Garnier Naturally.
New Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair. It's a huge game changer for me. The science is pretty amazing because it really goes deep inside the tooth and repairs tooth sensitivity. I am a happy patient. I will be able to go back to the things that I enjoy eating the most. The science is there. It's going to improve the quality of my life in a big way. The new Sensodyne Repair and Protect with Deep Repair.
Nivea Pearl and Beauty Deodorant. The perfect balance of 48-hour protection and care for soft, smooth, and beautiful underarms. Try our new Pearl and Beauty Black Pearl for smooth and perfumed underarms.
You're watching the Weekend Edition in association with Ino.
Yo, welcome back to the Weekend Edition, our conversation on nutrition with Mr. Charles Odongo, aka Ugali Man, and Felix Okoth, doctor, a nutritional, a clinical nutritionist. Continues.
Kienda kwa nutritionist, yule alisoma juju atakwambia half a plate ikuwe vegetable, a quarter ikuwe starch, na quarter ikuwe protein, ukunywe maji glass 8, umake sure unakula fruits 2, utembee ufanye exercise mara 30 minutes to 1 hour, na hiyo advice imeisha hapo. Jaribu
so your advice si legit.
Ndio maana nimeita layman.
Okay.
Layman ni yule mtu nikianza kumwambia hizo calorie and everything hataelewa. But still we can balance a portion for a layman whereby yeye sitamwambia hizo kizungu mingi. Yeye nitakuuliza Kingori, nitakupima weight, after kupima weight tujue kama uko na any medical condition, because medical condition also will determine the type of food that you eat and even your portioning. So if you have any medical condition, tunaweka in place depending on the type. Then if you don't have, now we deal with you as Dr. Kingori ama Ugali Man vile yuko hapa. So in that scenario, we'll check his BMI, then calculate, then after that we do the portion. So we nakulete tu plan. Breakfast ukiamua ni bread kula hivi. Ukiamua ni China ndoma kula hivi. Ukiamua ni ugali kama yake, lakini sio size anakula.
Kwa hivyo ni kitu mtu anaweza build, unaweza jicondition, uanze kukua na talent ya kukula kama pole pole, like it's something you can grow.
You see, the talent of ya kukula ina depend pia na appetite.
Appetite si kitu unaweza acquire.
Appetite unaweza acquire depending, because appetite is much of the hormone stimulants of the body. Na kuna hormone mbili zina work on appetite, moja inaitwa leptin, moja pia inaitwa ghrelin and other hormones. So leptin inakuwa produce na fat cells. Ghrelin inatoka kwa tumbo. So it was controls hunger na pia ukishakula vile Ugali Man labda alikule ugali na kuambia sasa nimeshiba, wachana nayo. So imbalance of these two hormones is what affects, and that's why unapata wale watu, those people who take cancer medication, in most types some medication tend to interfere with the appetite, or some conditions interfere na hiyo appetite. So utapata mtu atakula poa because hiyo appetite part imetolewa. But kuna wale tu wako na appetite ya juu kama Ugali Man, pole kukutumia as example. So kama yeye ana mega hiyo ugali. But the question that he should ask, hiyo ugali ni excess at that time ama si excess?
Okay.
Because mimi nikiangalia depending hata tukimesha aja as per his caloric requirement, hiyo time alikula hivyo akikula yote iko excess. But akigawa iko sawa.
Na is it okay to assume that basi with your explanation that mtu akienda atolewe leptin na kremlin hata waisikia njaa?
Sasa unajua hiyo swali umeuliza, it's a technical question because zitatolewa aje. Ni kama wewe inaweza suppressiwa. Ni kama wewe niseme nimetoa gani? Ni appetite gani mnajua? Vile unajibamba, your happiness.
Appetite ya madem, sema appetite ya madem.
So we remove your happiness, but they can be suppressed depending on how they are with medication.
Ugali Man, what's the most underrated food in your experience and interaction with food? Unajua passion yako inaonekana mpaka ukisema lazima ukutane na kitu, like it's an important meeting. It is something that has to be honored. What is the most underrated food? Na hii inakuja because as much as Felix amefanya professionally, kuna best yangu aliniambia most of the things ni vitu tumejiekea kwa kichwa, and you can also respond to this. How comes wase wa ushago ukula kama swara ama sungura, like unakulanga greens, hata unakutaranga na nyama once in a while na wamekauka proper?
Doc, the underrated food ukiangalia kama saizi ile mtu anatoka Rongai, kishuka tu hivi kwa gari barabarani bana, kwanza ugali inaonyesha madharau bwana. Chapati tu ndio imepanga line watu wanatengeneza. Kwa nini hii watu nisione wanapika ugali kwa barabara na unakatiwa chapati bwana, watu wamejaa wanatandika hivi bwana, onyesha ugali bwana madharau, and it's the primary source of energy. Tafadhali bwana, madharau ugali. We need it for energy. Mimi haki ya Mungu ile siku nitakuja kupata ule mtu anapika ugali kwa barabara na nakata ini ambao tena nitamletea bundle ya unga. We anaheshimu ugali.
The challenge is on.
Yeah. Yes. Actually our body needs that energy, and the primary source of energy is carbohydrate, and ugali is a carbohydrate. Yes. Na sana tucheze na ugali ambaye ya kusiaga. Na kama ya kusiaga. Ukinunua hii nyingine una mix kidogo na aka kusiaga, ndio inatengeneza foundation strong, inashika tumbo, so that hata unapata when you are doing your daily chores unaweza, you can do it for longer hours, you na release energy pole pole but kwa muda mrefu. Hizi wacha niwaambie kitu moja, mchele ni glucose ya kulambwa bwana. Hizi mara moja utasikia njaa.
No, ngoja. Kuna tofauti gani ya unga ya kusiaga na unga hiyo ingine processed?
Unajua sasa wametoa zile fiber. Fiber ni kama tunaweza kusema ni kama vitu zimewekwa zinakamata, ni kama zinakamata tumbo, magrip yake sasa imetolewa. Sasa hii nyingine inapita tu nywe kama maji. Hii kama glucose
na nutritional value.
Fibers got, yeah, correct.
But unga yenye haina fiber haina nutritional value.
Nitasema haina. For one thing, you see now mwili itailamba haraka sana na utasikia tena njaa, na pengine maybe kazi yako ni ile kazi ya, you know, you see like umeandikwa kwa kampuni unastahili kufanya kuingia kitu, tuseme umekula lunch, si ndio? Umekula lunch saa 6, utatoka hapo kitu kama saa 2 maybe ya usiku. Sasa niambie, hii ugali umeikula na 2 hours umeanza kusikia njaa, mdozi wako atakubali kweli uanze kutoka nje kwenda kutafuta chakula? You see tena
so
kitu inaweza kuvumilia hapo for 8 hours.
Hiyo ugali ya packet ni it's for jobless people.
I think so. Not jobless people, actually. Let's put it for I will say it this way. Hii ugali ambaye iko na let's call it fiber. Sema kama mahindi, ukiwa unasiaga mahindi iko na, usitoe hiyo ngozi. Very important, especially for persons who want to lose weight.
Hiyo ngozi ya mahindi.
Correct, for persons who want to lose weight, because you see it slows the absorption of calories. rather than when you're using, let's say, maize meal, which its husk has been removed. The body just digests it or metabolizes it very quickly, and it gets into your system very quickly. And if you were to pack some extra energy, like we call it stored energy or fat, is very, very, very high, you see. But the other one is the bet. It slows the digestion.
Okay.
And also, you see, it slows also, the absorption of those calories. So that will mean if you were to do weight loss, it's the best one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, how do you determine kushiba? How do you measure kushiba? Niliambiwa umesikia stories za wastori wa ushago mtoi analia juu anaogopa kushiba, si ndio? Like the destination, the process is, this is one of the areas what we enjoy, the process more than the destination. How do you define kushiba?
You enjoy the food. The moment now you feel you are now losing that enjoyment of the food, that will be kushiba.
When you stop enjoying the food.
Exactly.
Not when the food is finished.
Not when the food is finished. Because zingine unaweza kosa kuimaliza. Yes, ni mingi, lakini you're enjoying it, but then all of a sudden, you don't want it now. You're turning your head like this. So it's shiba.
It's a polite way ya kusema you eat until you get tired.
Let's put it that way. Yeah, I eat. Mimi nakulanga, by the way, si ati nishibe. Ni choke.
Serious? Na umeishindwa kumaliza food?
Si ndio.
You overestimated yourself.
Nilishindwa kabisa na nikainua mkono nikasema it's okay. Tomorrow is another day. Yeah.
Na clinically, how do you define kushiba?
Kushiba una determine when now the urge of eating imeisha.
The same thing?
Almost the same thing, and that's why nilikwambia about the two appetite hormones. Nizo hormones itakustop, na one of them tulisema ina stop, ni ile inatolewa kwa tumbo inaitwa ghrelin. So kishiba inakwambia hapana. Hiyo urge of eating sasa inaistopisha. Kama kuna kitu kwa tumbo inaleta hiyo urge of eating nataka. So it's the only one which will stop that. Si eti hadi tumbo ikifika juu kabisa.
So how does it affect the people who eat mpaka tumbo ilok?
Our to eat hadi tumbo lock, I will say the hormone is produced in excess.
Okay.
Na ndio unapata hiyo hormone ikitolewa in excess, hawa watu shibadi tumbo lock often and often, they have excess energy because wamekula excess hadi mwili itaki, lakini hao bado wanakula. So what happens in nature, mwili inakwambia wewe ndakuonyesha vile kunaenda obesity comes in. So the more the fat stored, now remember, the more fat is stored, the more glucose, chances of working your pancreas, diabetes inaingia pale. Apart from that, the more glucose inakuwa stored, the fat pia inakuwa stored to the liver. So kuna ile ugonjwa inaitwa fatty liver disease. Umekula sana, you have too much fat stored in your liver, that is causing inflammation of the liver.
That's why Mr. Odongo aliita food the miracle medicine.
True, very true.
Na that's why watu wengine wakikula au sema wanajitibu.
Na ndio maana unapata ushaona wale watu like it happens in women mostly. Unapata dem ni mkubwa anaanza kumea nini? Ndevu. Obesity also causes that hormonal balance and all that.
Rudy, please say that on national TV again.
You see, obesity tend to cause different hormonal imbalance, and that's why you see a disease such as polycystic ovarian syndrome. I hope you have heard something like that. Or most of the breast cancers that happen to women, in most cases happen to women who are obese. But even men have breast cancer. Unapata mwanaume ni obese hadi amemea matiti.
Turudi hapa kwa madem kumea ndevu juu ya kukula.
No,
hapo.
It's because of the obesity factor that is imbalancing the hormones. Sasa unapata the male hormone, even women have the male hormone in them, but it go lower.
So you are saying that women are men chini ya maji. So as in what you're saying is dem akikula poa anaweza mea ndevu.
No, not really.
Akikula, as in, kuna vile msichana akikula anamea ndevu. As in, really. What you're saying tena again ni si tunaweza kuwa si ni mademu wamekula vibaya.
Ni kama what I mean is both of us we have almost those hormone. there is the progesterone and progesterone hormone. So unapata in female, the female hormone will be higher than the male hormone in them. In male, the male hormone will be higher. That's why unaanza kumea chest ukiwa teenage, ukiruka hapo 18 unaanza kumea beards. Lakini unapata watu wenye hiyo beards imekata kukuja. Unaelewa?
Okay.
Ama dem from nowhere tu ameanza kumea beards. So there are foods and mostly that leads to weight gain can affect the hormones, na that hormonal imbalance inaweza affect hizo tissues. Anze tu kumea ndevu tu from nowhere. And that's why in such a scenario ukienda kwa gynecologist, anaweza kupatia dawa to suppress the hormone, but atakwambia endo on nutritionist akusaidia kupunguza hiyo kilo.
Ugali Man, how does it feel kusikia Felix akisema wewe hapa tunakuona unaweza kuwa msupa, umekonvertiwa na ugali. Umekonvertiwa na simbi.
No, it's okay because actually even during the Bible times, you'll see when you know, I think everybody, you know, you understand. There were two brothers who were taken, we call it what, captive by Palestine, let me say so. And they could not eat with these Palestine simply because their meals were so bad. So they said, let's give us only cereals. And the Bible says after 10 days, their faces were glittering, they were looking good. So food, and I will continue and I will still support this, food is a miracle medicine when taken at the right portion, right time, and with the right job. You're good to go. Itakumake utakuwa msupu na meta kukula mzuri. Kosa utakonda paka ukinaingia ndani bwana. Macho ndani bwana. Masikio marefu, meno nono bwana. Tukule, that's it.
Wameweza ama hawajaweza ama sasa? Watu makofi yao. Manze, asanteni sana kwa kuja show yetu. History ya food tumeiguza tu juu, hatujaimaliza. Najua tuko na maswali mingi sana, but let's extend this conversation to future conversations. Sindio? Asanteni sana. That's it for the Wicked edition. See you next week. My name is Dr. Kingori.
The Wicked edition in association with Eno.